to Legends, Lore, Hauntings, and More with your hosts, Polly, Shelley, and Shelby. We're here to talk about anything from true facts to urban legends and much more in between. So if you have any encounters or stories you'd like us to talk about, send them to legendsloreHauntings.more@gmail.com. And if you like what we're about, please like, subscribe, and share. With that being said, let's get into it. From the source, Reuters, updated February 17th, 2022. A Bolivian house with devil sculptures spooks Highland City. A Bolivian miner has covered his house with sculptures of long, horned devils and other scary creatures intended as a playful nod to the country's colonial past, but has instead shocked some neighbors who fear a link to occult rituals. The adobe brick house in the city of El Alto belongs to David Choke, who hired an artist to create the skeletal devils from cement and wood and installed them on his roof, doors, and walls. There is an imprint of a black skull on Choke's front door and giant teeth around one window frame, below which an intricately carved dragon lurks. Choke told Reuters he hoped the spooky house would spur local tourism. He said, "Closed-minded people think it's something supernatural, but it's just a tourist attraction." The sculptures are an allusion to the life of Bolivian mines centuries ago during Spanish colonial rule, when local indigenous men were frightened and forced into digging for silver. The colonial masters would show miners images of devils and warn them that they would be abducted by the spirits if they refused to work. From the source, spreaddailymotion.com. In New York's Catskill Mountains, there is an abandoned building that sits forlornly. Its witch hat roofs, soaring turrets, and Gothic windows make it look like something out of a fairy tale. Sadly, there is no happily ever after here, just whispers of curses and ghosts that haunt the forgotten grounds. The Dundas Castle has been shrouded in myth and mystery for as long as anyone can remember. But what is the real story behind this eerie and deserted place? Built back in the first half of the 20th century, tragedy would strike just before its first owner could move in. Since then, the empty hallways and echoing chambers have remained mostly devoid of life. So, why was it just abandoned and left to rot and decay? Well, the first tragedy struck in 1921 when Wirtz Dundas died before his castle was completed. Though work on the property continued, neither his widow nor child would get to enjoy life there. Within a year after her husband's death, the widow's mental health declined and she was hospitalized. Incapable of managing her own affairs, the castle passed to her then 18-year-old daughter, Muriel. Given her young age, Muriel was placed under the guardianship of the castle caretakers, but these unscrupulous men stole a large chunk of her family's wealth. Eventually, she moved to England, where she married and started a new life. Unfortunately, Muriel would follow the path of her mother and end up being institutionalized. Over the years, the castle passed into the hands of a number of different owners, although none of them stayed for very long. Could the various traumas associated with the building have left some eerie echoes behind? So, who owns the Dundas Castle now? Apparently, it's owned by the Freemasons. Over the years, it has acquired a reputation for being haunted or even cursed. Dundas Castle is privately owned, and you must be granted permission to visit.